G'day, Michael here. I want to speak to 3 fundamentals that I believe that you're going to need to know to break out of negative patterns and cycles in your life. And just to clarify, I don't mean like break out of negative moods or like attitudes or like habits on the micro level, like how to shift your state. I used to go to a lot of Tony Robbins seminars, and it was all about changing your physiology and your language and your focus. And then if you did those 3 things, you could change, you could change your behavior. But there was always something that never felt right for that. I found myself constantly like doing these power moves and these affirmations and just constantly changing the way I really felt deep down. And it's like, is this how I'm meant to be like doing life? Like before a meeting, like getting into like this peak state. It's like, what? Like, can't I just be? Can't I just be who I am? So that was an important part in my journey, because now I'm here helping people with that. Like, how can we actually shift who we really are? So we don't have to put on any masks. We don't have to pretend. We don't have to be anybody else. We can just be who we are. So I'm not talking about micro, I'm talking about macro. I'm talking about if you have, recognize that like in any area of your life, there's a cyclical nature to it. So it could be like in your business, or like with money, you find that like you make a lot and you have some success, and then like you lose it all. And you do that all over again, and you've done that a few times now, and you're like, okay, I'm sick of this, like what gives? You may find it in your like intimate relationships, maybe the same thing has occurred in each relationship, like over and over and over again, like different woman, same result. You're like, damn, like, okay. What's the go with that? And maybe it's with your health as well. You could be, really on doing your thing, getting results, and then, fall off the wagon, so to speak. So that's what this is about. This is like 3 fundamentals that you have to know to break out of that cycle, right? And so let's just get into it. So the first one is like honesty. Honesty about like this whole thing, like what I'm currently doing or what I have been doing and what I'm trying to do now. It's what hasn't worked. And like if I'm going to continue to do this, I'm going to continue to get the same results. So we have to like break through that delusion that we can have of that, like, oh yeah, I'll just try a little bit harder this time. I'll just, this time will be different for some reason. Yeah. So we have to break through that, and sometimes we have to go through the pattern and the cycle like numerous times until we really know. I was speaking to my business mentor the other day, and he's like, this is what you should do, pretty much. And I'm like, yeah, I know you're right, but I think I'm gonna have to do it my way until I like learn that it really doesn't work. Because there was a part of me that I was like, I'm not gonna really, really know that it doesn't work until I give it a full freaking go and basically face plant. And then I'll be like, okay, cool. Yep, that doesn't work. Now I'll move on to the next. So sometimes we have to do that. So like, that's a bonus fundamental, is know that like, this stuff isn't like something that's happening wrong necessarily, or this is like a bad thing. Like, oh, I'm going through all these cycles and patterns. Like, no, like it's part of it. It's part of the journey. Like, we're all going through cycles until we're ready to like look at them and change them and release them. But yeah, that's part of the process. So it's like, yeah, know that like this is not necessarily a bad thing either. Like, it's a necessary thing to go through these cycles so we can let them go and evolve. So there you go. There's a bonus one. But first one's, we got to get honest about it. Second one is, it's like a, yeah, it's like a, it's the next step. After we get through the delusion of like, okay, like I tried this, I don't know, what's an example? Like, yeah, you just tried something different externally, whether it's in your business, in your relationship, in your health. Like, people in their health, they're like, oh, I'll try a PT. I'll try a different gym. I'll try a different workout time. I'll, just examples, you get it, right? And then it's like, oh, but still, here I am falling off the wagon, right? So like, on the other side of that delusion, we have to start coming to terms with that. It's like, it's us, right? It's us. And we are creating our life, right? And it's not like the external so much, right? Because I bet you've had something in your life where like something triggered you or something was a real problem. And then like you grew as a person, and then that same thing could happen now and it's like, it's not even a problem, right? So it's not the externals that are like coming at us or that we have to change and manipulate. It's us. And more specifically, it's our thoughts. It's our thoughts that are going on, and it's our emotions, and it's our responses to all of that are creating our lives. Yeah, that's what's happening. So yeah, there's like, we got to be honest, something's got to change. We've got to do something different. Secondly, it's like, it's us. Yeah, and this is real stuff, by the way. Like, if you watched this so far, good work. Like, seriously, because most people are like, oh, that's not what I want to hear. I don't want to hear that it's me that has to change. But if like, and that was me at some points in my journey. But yeah, if you've listened this far, it's like, yeah, dude, you're hungry and you're ready and you want it. So that's awesome. And yeah, how do we start shifting this stuff? Our thoughts and our emotions and our actions. Well, that's a biggie. And it's kind of amazing. It's kind of a miracle when it does happen. It's just honestly by the grace of God sometimes that we go through these shifts. And I'm going to explain that in another video, why it's actually so rare for people to even like change and transform in this life. If you're familiar with David R. Hawkins' work, he's the inventor of the map of consciousness, where like 1,000 is at the highest level of consciousness, and these were like Jesus Christ and Buddha and Krishna. They were the enlightened beings at like 1,000, and like shame is at the bottom, I think at like 75. And he said people in their life generally, like the overwhelming majority, will only move like 50 points on the scale in their whole life. So like, it's a like tiny minuscule transformation. So yeah, I'll probably do another video on like why that actually is. So it's a big thing, it's a special thing. But if you're watching this, you're ready for it. And usually if we're thinking about it, then that it will happen for us. So the next thing is like awareness that our thoughts, our thoughts and our beliefs, they're not actually true, right? They seem to be true for us because sometimes we've had them for so long, and we've repeated them to ourselves. And because we've repeated them ourselves and we've acted as if they were true, we've created examples that strengthen them, that support them. What's an example of it? Okay, so in business, you could be like, oh, every kind of man is out for himself, right? So if you believe that and you've said that to yourself, then you're going to do business in a certain way, and you're going to attract in certain relationships and people that are really like out for themselves, right? And you'll see that in them. You'll bring that out of them, and then you'll be like, see, there, it's true, right? I've got a chorus of magpies around me singing. What's another one? Oh, okay, in relationships. Oh, women are just like, women just like want like, the bad guy. They just want the bad guy. You have that belief, then you'll find that in women. You'll see that in women. You'll be the bad guy and they'll want you, or you'll be the nice guy and they won't want you, or you'll see another a guy being a bad guy and you'll be like, oh look, he's getting all the women. So we have to start like realizing that we've like programmed ourselves to as these are truths, but they're not actually truths, right? They're just beliefs. So we need to start having awareness of that, and we need to start opening to the possibility of like higher ways of seeing the world, like higher ways of doing business, for example, or higher ways of being in relationship, or higher ways of mastering your health and your body and your energy, for example. And start opening to receiving them. And so they're the three fundamentals that start shifting out of negative cycles and patterns. Is get honest. Is it working or isn't it working? 2, if you try to change all the externals and nothing's changing, then it's most likely us. It's always us, right? It's us. And that's what empowers us to point the fingers back at us, because then we can do something about that. And thirdly, it's realizing that these thoughts and these beliefs and these actions are creating this, and realizing that that's all they are. They're not actually the way the world is. They're just what we believe. They just feel like that's the way the world is, and open up to higher paradigms. And I always like to leave it with an action, and my action would be get around people that are operating in these higher paradigms, that have transcended these negative cycles and beliefs. They don't believe these things about people in business. They don't believe these things about women in relationships. They don't believe these things about health. They're on a completely higher paradigm. They understand what you're saying, they've been through it, and they've transcended it. So these people can be on YouTube, these people can be in books, these people can be in-person mentors and things like that, and get around them and see what happens then. See what they can help activate in you. I hope this is helpful. Let me know if it was. I would greatly appreciate it. If I'm on the right track with this one, if I'm speaking to things that are beneficial to you. If I'm not, if you see things or hear things that I can improve on, please, I would love your feedback. I'm looking just to add as much value as possible to the men on here. All right, much love. Have a great day. Bye.